In this tutorial, I would like to demonstrate how OBS Studio can be used to stream or record the videos. The OBS Studio, this piece of software, allows to change the video sources. For example, it can be used to stream or record image from the video from the camera, or it can record your desktop, or you can you can do all sorts of things with it. So to get started with this piece of software, we need to go to and Google for OBS Studio. So after googling the OBS Studio, we can just click on this download link, which will take us to this website, and you can download the installer. The installation of this software should be relatively simple. I haven't tried the Linux or the Apple version. I'm only using the Windows version, but you can try to use it on Apple or Linux. After installing the OBS Studio, there is one more thing that we need to do to be able to allow OBS Studio to act as a virtual camera. So then we are able to choose the OBS Studio camera in other software like Microsoft Teams, for example. To do that, we need to look for OBS Visual Camera. So OBS, if we just Google OBS Visual Camera, we should be you should be able to find this link on GitHub. If you click on that link, it will take you to the GitHub site, and then if you click over here for releases, and then on the top, that's the most recent version. You just need to download the OBS installer. I'm not sure if they've got versions for Apple computers or Linux. Like I said, I'm only using the Windows version. So after downloading and installing this version, you just need to make sure that when you run the installer, that I think that you will need to install it just in a default path. It should automatically find the folder where you've installed the OBS Studio, and it should just install itself in the same folder as the OBS Studio. You can check if your installation was successful by later when you run the OBS Studio. Again, this window shows the OBS Studio. You should be able to click on Tools and then click on Virtual Cam, and yeah, if you've got this option Virtual Cam, that means that you've got OBS Virtual Cam installed. For that, I've got, again, if I just close this for a second, you go to Tools, Virtual Cam, and then in this window over here, you can, I've got this set to auto start. Target camera is just called OBS Camera, and yeah, this is just set to 3, and you can just start it, and now it will appear as you've got another camera connected to your computers, which will be just called OBS Camera. So I will so the steps are, once again, to install the OBS Studio, and then after that to install the OBS plugin for OBS, which is called OBS Virtual Cam. Then after the first time, after starting the OBS Studio for the first time, you are not going to have these scenes set up here like I've got on the left. So that's what I want to show you, how to set up a few things in OBS Studio, and then what we can do with those. So again, initially you will just have an empty box here for scenes. So what you need to do first is to set a scene. So after clicking on the plus button, you can give your scene a name. So for example, it could be, if you are just recording the whole desktop, you can just call it, I don't know, desktop. I would just call it desktop test. After creating a new scene, you need to click on it unfortunately I can't do it now, because then I will lose the ability to record what I'm doing on the screen. So I will just stay in this scene over here, which is just recording my my whole desktop. But then and again, I've already got a display capture added to this scene. Again, I can't really delete this here to show you how to do it from scratch, because I will lose the ability to record the video. But to again, after creating a new scene, this window over here will be empty. There will be no sources in it. So to create a source, let's say that we want to capture, if we want to capture what's on our screen, if we want to capture what's on one of our monitors, we have to click on this add button, and then click on display capture. After giving it a name, we can click OK. And then we just have to choose, if we've got more than one, if you've got more than one monitor, you have to choose which one you will be capturing. Well, if you've got just one monitor, there's no choice really. There's going to be just one field over here, and that's it. And then after you click OK, you will have then your source added here. Well, I'm going to delete mine now, because, well, now they're just like the same screen is being captured twice. So after adding our display capture, we can now, whenever we click on our scene, which is called desktop, our camera will be showing whatever we've got on the screen. For a different scene, as you can see, I've got my camera scene here. When I click on a camera, it's just showing what the visualizer camera sees at the moment. So once again, to create something like that, to create just a view for a camera, again, you would do it the same way. First, you need to create a new scene. So you should end up at the end of the whole process. I suggest that you should have two scenes over here. One for desktop and the other one for camera. And then after you've added the camera scene, again, you will have to add the source. So we do it the same way as previously with the display capture, but instead of a display capture, we're going to go to a video capture device. And if we choose this video capture device, again, we can now there is already I've already created one, but if you haven't created any, you just need to give it a new name like this, and then you click OK. And then in the device, you will have to choose here on the top the camera that you've got connected to your system. I've got this visualizer connected, and that's what it's called. After hitting OK, you will then have another scene, and then in this other scene, you should be able to see image from the camera. Now, I'm not going to actually create the second source video capture device because I already have one. So if you, for example, if you could also create a scene on which you've got more than just window than your screen capture, you can actually have a screen capture and a camera in the same frame, in the same scene at the same time. To do that, you can just click on this plus, add video capture device, and because I've already created the video capture device when I created my scene for the camera, I will just click on add existing video capture device, and after clicking OK, as you can see, I will get another window here, which is so now I will have if I record a video, I will be able to record my desktop and, for example, this window over here, which is just a view from a camera. If you want, you can put a web camera, which is showing you fast, well, which is showing you as you are maybe, I know, talking to the students, and the rest of the screen could be some sort of a power, I know, presentation or whatever you want to show. I don't find that particularly useful, so I'm going to delete the camera input. So I'll just now remove the video capture device from here. So that's just now going to show the my desktop. There are some more options that we need to go through before we are ready to record the video or broadcast a live stream. If you click somewhere outside of this window, inside the, like somewhere here in the OBS Studio, you can you can set the preview scaling. I would suggest to leave it at scale to window. That means that whenever you scale the OBS Studio, the preview will scale with the OBS Studio. There are some more options that we need to go through in OBS Studio. So if we go to settings inside the OBS Studio, then, well, the first one is the output. So here you can set a path where the video is going to be recorded. Now the next one is in audio. You get to choose which microphone. If you've got more than one microphone connected to your computer, you can choose which microphone the OBS Studio will use. And also you can set it to record the system audio as well. So it's not only going to be recording the voice or the sound from your microphone, it will also record the desktop sounds, which means that if you are talking to somebody online, the sound of or the voice of other people will be also recorded. So that's audio. In video, well, at the moment these options are great, and I will show you in a minute why. But you can change here what is the output, and I think this is important. What is the output resolution of this particular camera? I recommend to set it to something like 720p, which is 1280 by 720 resolution. So those are the options that I recommend. But again, as you can see, at the moment I can't really change anything here, and I will show you in a minute why that's the case. One more thing worth mentioning is the hotkeys. So for example, after creating the scenes, you can create a hotkey for a particular scene. So instead of clicking in the OBS Studio and in order to change from one scene to another, you can just use keyboard shortcuts to achieve that. So you can run your session. If you've got just one monitor, you can have OBS Studio minimized, and then you can just switch between different windows by pressing or different scenes by pressing those hotkeys. The reason why some of the options are great, because at the moment the virtual cam is running. So in order to adjust the options I was just showing you a few minutes ago related to screen resolution and the quality of the video, you would first have to stop the virtual cam for the time that at which you are adjusting the settings, and then come back to this window over here and press start again. I'm not going to do that, because as soon as I press stop, well, my video will stop recording. So one more thing, when you are installing virtual cam, at some point it will ask you about how many virtual cameras you need to install, and I suggest that you should just choose one. I don't really see a reason for having more than one virtual cam installed on a computer. So this is how you can set some basic scenes and basic things in OBS Studio to be able to change between different sources and be able to record that. After setting this all up, if you are running some sort of a session live, or you just want to record the video, all you need to do is to come over here and just press start recording, and at any point you can pause the recording. You could also set the keyboard shortcuts for pausing and starting the recording, but again, I'm not going to do that, because that will obviously stop the recording of this video. So after creating all this, after creating some scenes, again, I recommend at least two to have a desktop and a camera. If you want, you can set a third one which has a combination of desktop and a camera, for example. Then I'm just very quickly going to show you how to choose OBS Visual Camera as a source in Microsoft Teams. In the right top corner, if you click on your icon and go to settings, what you need to do is you need to go to the devices, and here again you need to choose the microphone microphone which you want to be using. So yeah, that's the microphone I'm using, and here for the camera choice, and again you can choose the OBS camera. The OBS camera should be available here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be available. Well, of course, to be able to use the OBS camera, you have to have OBS Studio running somewhere in the background. So yeah, I have tried to set the visualizer camera as an input for Microsoft Teams, but well, I wasn't successful. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't have drivers for this camera installed. But yeah, but OBS camera works flawlessly. It works really well. So after setting this camera to OBS camera, whenever you are running a session or recording a video, you should be able to switch between the camera or your desktop. One more thing that I would maybe mention is if you are showing something like a browser, you might have some private informations. Maybe I don't know, maybe you've got some shortcuts to the website that you don't necessarily want to show to others. If you right click on your display capture, you can go to this section transform and then edit transform, and this little window will allow you to crop what's being captured on the screen. So for example, if you now have a look at these icons over here on the left, I can just set crop left, and that means that these icons will simply disappear from the video. So you can, for example, crop image, so we are not showing you your taskbar, or you are not showing the address bar on your browser. So you can do the same thing on the top, for example, that will crop the top of the image, so it's not going to be shown on the video. So you will be still able to see it on the screen on your computer, but it will not appear on your stream, and it will not appear on the video that you are recording. Another tool that you may find useful for recording resources for students is this little piece of software which is called Epic Pen. So if you Google Epic Pen, this will take you to this website when you can download Epic Pen. There's a free version which you can download. After downloading Epic Pen and starting it, you will get this little toolbar that you can put on your screen, and this acts a little bit like interactive. It turns your screen into interactive whiteboard. You can choose a color, you can choose the size of the pen, and then you can draw stuff on the screen. Yeah, I thought that some of you may find this little tool useful. If you want to clear the screen, then you just press on the bin over here and clicking on a cursor, that will switch off the overlay mode. So now you can interact. Now you can interact with your website. If you click on a pen, obviously, then you're just writing on the screen. If you don't have a pro version, then I recommend going to settings and hiding the pro tools. That means that you will not have the options here which you cannot use anyway in a free version. You can also set some hotkeys here. I believe you should be able to set a hotkey for a pen and I think the cursor. So instead of clicking here, you will be able to use your keyboard to switch between different modes. I think that that's all I wanted to show you in this short tutorial. By no means I'm not an expert in using OBS Studio. So, there are a lot of resources online. You can go to YouTube and watch some more tutorials on how to use the OBS Studio. I just wanted to show you some things that I think you may find useful. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good time using OBS Studio.